Well, hi, Facebook world. Here's Katie and I. We don't have the microphones on today because I forgot them. So, Katie, messy world of this and me. But I wanted to have a real, raw conversation with Katie here. She inspires the heck out of me. So, Katie, who are you? What do you do?
Don't ask me that question again. Jesus. I am a South Dakota girl. I live in Lead. Used to work at the library. I like to bake. I have kids. There's a lot too. Who are you? That's a good question.
That is a big question, isn't it?
Who are you?
Who am I? Oh my gosh, right? Yeah, I'm this girl with crazy ideas. Community builder.
I could say I'm a drink goblin. I have lots of, different things I like to drink during a day. So I will show you later. But for now, I'm having some green tea in my Shivers mug.
Which I love. Those are cool mugs. They always have the best stuff, don't they?
They have the best merch.
Yeah.
Bright minds behind that Shivers Brewing. So cheers.
Cheers to Shivers Brewing too. Mm-hmm. Amazing. So I really wanted to have a conversation kind of about this program. I got off the ground finally.
Yeah.
Have had it for years.
You did a thing.
I did a thing.
Yeah.
But it didn't come without some messy parts.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And so part of that messy part, I want to just be open and honest with people, is that I wanted you to be a part of it. And as we were going, like a year goes by, and I told Katie, hey, I have this program I really want to do.
I was coming through the drive-thru getting coffee, and she tells me, I'm like, cool! And then I came through, like, within the next month or two, and nothing. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, and
Maybe
my messy
someday.
life, right? So then I asked her again, I'm like, I finally think I've got this thing. And then you had a real deep, like, honest conversation with me. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I feel like in my life, how I know I'm on the right path is like when there's weird synchronicities lining up and happening that don't make sense. So one day, my friend Kim walks by when I'm parked on Main Street, like reading a book or something after work, just kind of decompressing, and she's like, you should go to Lotus Up and go talk to that girl. Like, I feel like you have life things in common, you could just have a conversation. And I was like, oh, cool, that's a weird thing to say, but sure. So like a month or two later, I came here, it was almost closing time, and I'm like, I'm gonna go talk to that girl about whatever we're supposed to talk about, because that's curious, right? I'm into following the little threads. And so I come down and start having this conversation, like, what are you into? Oh, what's our likes? And then like Jamie came in and she's like, oh, what's going on? And starts saying, oh, cool, you guys wanna do some stuff, so do I. And then what?
And then what? And then finally, you were super awesome and held me accountable.
I had signed up a couple of times for programs with you, and then they kind of fell through, and I was like, oh, well, I don't know if I trust that this is a real thing that's going to happen, and I don't really like being vulnerable, and I have a hard time trusting people, so it's like, not how honest are you, because I know you have the heart to do a thing, but like, also, like, what's driving you, what's going to keep you accountable to do a thing.
Right.
And then it was really interesting, because like, my grandma had just passed away, and she had left me like $2,000, and I was like, man, I really want to put this towards education or like bettering myself. I've been in this mom mode for a couple years now, and I'm just kind of stuck, and I don't know what I'm doing. And Jamie's like, oh, I've got this program, and I'm going to offer it for free for a year, and it's like a $2,000 program. And I'm like, oh, that's also seems like interesting.
Right.
Like, cool, I could have spent it on something like this, or more something that seemed more practical or whatever, but it was just funny little things that happened where she's like, we're going to do a program for a year, and we're going to try to empower women and just to help them get on track with how they want to live their life and what their values are, how they can bring their best self to their community and their families. And I was like, all right, we'll see.
Yeah, and we did it.
Yeah.
We did it. We did
For
a whole year.
Yeah.
We did it. So yeah, so some of my questions, I've got some questions here because, my brain doesn't always work so great. And I told Katie we can go off the rails too because
That's what we're good at.
Yeah, we're good at that. And I like it. So, it's just, I'm so grateful that you did push me and have that deep conversation because I wanted to do it for so long. And I was allowing other things in my life to dictate so much more. And it was like, are you invested in this program? Are you invested in the women that you want to help? And so you having that real conversation with me, I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta be invested. I'm invested in some parts in the wrong things. And I wanted to be invested in the women. And so we did the thing, and we did it for a year. So you didn't just encourage me with the Level Up Collective, but you did the program. How was that for you?
It was really hard. Yeah, like how much are you telling about your program, of like what you do? Is it supposed to be like secret, or is it just like...
No, I want people to know, because it might just reach out to somebody that wants to do it. And it's not easy work. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't be the woman I am today if I didn't do this work. And I've been doing this work for over 10 years, right?
So I guess like if you start with like when I first, if anybody's familiar with Brene Brown, I remember starting to listen to her, and she's talking about like vulnerability, and I remember hearing this quote somewhere that's like, everything you want's on the other side of vulnerability. And I'm like, I hate that so much, because I feel like I was raised to be independent and strong and keep things close to me and don't talk about my feelings, don't worry about that kind of stuff. And so that was very foreign. But then the more I read Brene Brown, I'm like, she's a lot like me. She's a Texan who has parents who hunt, and just, you know, we got to be tough. But then she found out like all the bad things she didn't like in the world were part of her. She just had them stuffed so deep down from herself that like when she started digging that up, being like, oh my God, like I'm not the person I want to be because I'm stuck in this place by not acknowledging these things, you know? And
Right.
So I feel like sometimes, yeah, you stuff so much stuff down to just keep a hold on it, and then it's like it starts coming out your pores. You start word vomiting on people, and you're like, wow, that's not what I meant to do. So I guess how the program worked was we met every other month for pretty much a full freaking day, and you sit in a chair, and it starts with like, what's keeping you up at night? Which, why would you open that can of worms? What a stupid question. I remember being like terrified. I was like, this is gonna go so poorly. And just, you know, once you like unloose that, like, is a good idea? I don't know. It seems dangerous, and it can be, but also it leads to getting really honest. And it's like, I feel like I haven't been really honest with myself for a long time, just stagnant, you know? So for me, that was interesting. It's 10 minutes of like just basic questions. And then what are the other questions when you get into?
Yeah, so we teach, right? Yeah. And then we teach insightful questions. So these are...
It's a whole framework. It's not just Jamie making shit up. Like, it kind of is, but it's also a lot more than that.
Right.
Stuff.
We can curse too. It's okay. We're messy around here. Really, it's about giving people opportunity to speak and have conversations, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not dialogue conversations. It's for somebody to realize how to get unstuck. And so we teach... in the first 10 minutes, it's just questions for the people outside of the hot seat, right? And so those are just questions for us to better understand where they're stuck. And then for an hour,
you sit in the hot seat.
For an hour, we ask insightful questions. And those are just for the person sitting in that hot seat program, or a hot seat. And those are, you know, my favorite question that was asked of me is, what are you willing to lose in order to continue the behavior? And a big one for me is when things get really tough and I don't feel listened to or different things, I isolate and I check out. So I disassociate. And it really, I had to look at that and think why, and then what am I willing to lose? Because that behavior is not serving me. And so I was like, oh crap. So these are hard questions. Like, what do you know, what does success look like for you?
What patterns are you noticing in your life? And it wasn't until even the very last cohort, it was just like, oh man, this has been going on all year. It's like this whole pattern, and it's just really interesting to see that. And it's just, I think, getting some of that stuff out of you, so it's not just constantly swirling around in there, so you can finally get a grip on like, what is it that you want to do? You don't want to, like, I've been writing in my journal for probably 5 to 10 years, like, man, I really want to get off the coffee. I really want to like do some things. I want to take some classes, and I want to, you know, whatever, but how am I getting in my own way? I'm online shopping. I'm checking Facebook all the time. I'm keeping myself so busy with this really stupid stuff that it's like I see other people do stuff and feel like they have a handle on life, and I just feel like, how? I don't even understand. So it's just, you know, we've gone through a year, and do I feel like I'm at the other side of that? No. Have I figured out? Am I still in the messy middle? Yeah, and that's okay. I think it's just coming to terms with reality rather than being like, oh my God, I have to be like them, or I have to be like somebody else, you know, because that's kind of how I grew up. Like, I was really good at comparing myself to others. Like, oh, they took a really shitty path. I'm not going to do that because I see where that goes. Or like, oh, they took a really good path. I'm going to emulate that. And then I got to this point in therapy where my therapist was like, so what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I want to do what I'm supposed to do. I've always been told what to do. I've done it really well. Give me a really basic task. I can make it better. But like, what do I want to do? I don't know. It doesn't matter. And then kind of like exploring that. And it's like, well, it sort of matters.
It does matter, yeah. And I also did that. I remember one of my mentors asked me, and it was Brene Brown's quote, "How do you hustle for your worthiness?" I was like, what? Yeah. My whole entrepreneurial journey was hustling for my worthiness. Like, I was like, wait a minute. Like, oh, now I'm going to flip up my whole world upside down again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. It reminds me, my cousin wrote a book, actually, Heidi Barr. She's wonderful. Shout out. But it was like, I can't even remember which book it was, but it was something like, you are enough. And I hated that phrase so much. I'm like, are you enough? We're not doing enough. There's so much that needs to be done. And we're being lazy. And like, as a society, blah, blah, blah. And it's just kind of like being able to come back to like a sense of calm. It's like, why are we feeling like we have to do all these things that are so like to make ourselves feel worthy? And it's just like, I don't know, taking a pause from that can feel really bad, especially if you're doing it on your own because you feel guilty and you feel lazy and stuff. But when you stop and pause to like consider like, well, what is my responsibility in this society? What is my responsibility to my community, to my family? And just kind of like reining that back in because we're so exposed to so many things. Like it feels like the whole world is a hot mess and it's like a dumpster fire and we got to do something about it. But like when you're coming from that place of urgency and like scarcity and all the things, like you don't really get a lot done. You just get overwhelmed.
Yeah. And that's one of our questions, like, is that your responsibility, right?
Yeah, that's a hard thing to discern.
Man, it is. So with that, like, I was just kind of reading these questions too as you were going. One thing, the real raw conversations is what I'm all about. And with the cohort and the Level Up Collective, it's can you share a conversation, breakthrough or moment in the program for you that shifted something? And obviously, we keep everyone's stuff very private, but if you feel like something shifted for you from those conversations.
I guess I don't know specifically, but I guess, yeah, just like, well, what is my worth? Like, you know, there was one day, I probably said a lot of mean words to Jamie because she's usually the one that's asking most of the questions of really like poking you in the side, like, what go farther, say more. And it's just like, girl, hey, this is a really tender spot. I don't really want to say more. And it's just like, you know, the question was like, who are you? I'm like, yeah, who are you? Like, I don't know. Like, at this point, you know, I think probably people can probably relate. Maybe I'm wrong, but all the mom blogs I read and all this stuff, it's just like, and maybe dads too. It's just like, we've been through a lot. And it's like, I felt like I was a really good student. I was really good at, well, most things. Like, I didn't have a lot of troubles. I knew what to do and how to behave. And then underneath that, I could do all the fun stuff I wanted to do. But like, once I joined family life and got into like a 9-to-5 job, and I'm like, I feel so stuck and I don't know what the playbook is to like feel better again. And it's just is a really hard thing to navigate. So for me, like being able to see that I'm not alone in that, and you don't have to feel so guilty and shameful about it. Like you don't know how to do it after knowing how to do everything, and then be like, this is so stupid. Meal planning and like, right? And you know, just the basic stuff. It's like you could be, there's a reason people are a housekeeper for a job. It's a really hard, long job. There's a reason people are chefs. Like to try to do all the things with one hat and like juggle all the things, it's just kind of,
yeah, and it gives you a whole day too to really kind of set some things down, right?
Yeah.
And we don't always give ourselves that, for one, or I didn't for a long time. And I think too is what I learned through this process, the cohort process, is that my story is your story is our story.
Yeah.
And how many people, like as I'm working with individuals, and I do one-on-one, and I do group. I love group work, the cohort group, because I see so much connection in that.
Yeah.
And moving, because as I was listening to the women sharing and in those spaces and me asking the tough questions, which I don't always like to sit in that seat, but the program is teaching you to sit in that seat too.
Yeah.
And holding people accountable. But I think it's those questions that bring us closer together. And I don't know about you, but I felt so connected to the women that were right,
sure.
being vulnerable. I'm like,
of different ages and in different situations, like the things that they struggle with are the things that we struggle with, and vice versa, and in different ways. And it's like, I've learned that like you can't just emulate everybody else. Like you can, but there's also like, if you're not answering those questions, like, why am I here? Like I'm like a continual angsty teenager. I'm always like, why are we here? What are we doing? And it's like, trying to take that on your own, like I used to do that through self-help books and like read them on my own and just be like, it's okay, I can figure this out. I've always been able to just figure it out. And it's like, no, we were built for connection. We were built for doing things together in our like society, and the whole 9-to-5s or working overnights, or just there's a lot of disconnection. And I struggled for a long time before I'm like, I need help. Like, so when you're like, I might have a thing for like 2 months, I'm like, what's the thing? What's the thing?
Yeah.
And for a year, radio silence, I'm like, oh, that bitch.
Yeah, totally.
Love you.
I know. Gosh. Well, and it comes down to like when we really look at it, and when I actually got to sit down and do the work, right? And work with the women. It's something, but it was on the other side of fear.
Yeah.
And for me, it was fear of failing.
Yeah.
Which I had when I built this building, right? I had this major fear of failing, and I kept sidelining myself. And that's what this program too. I mean, I'd been doing it. I knew that it worked. I'm going into corporations, but actually doing it for my community members, when I had all this messy stuff going on inside of me, I'm like, oh God, like what am I doing? But I knew I was so inspired by you and the way that you show up for community, and just your truth. It just, I couldn't imagine a better person, a better fit for the work. To be able to tell me real shit. Right, and go cussing.
I think the cool thing about the program is that I am like, I know how to do the things like that I'm supposed to do, and I did that for a really long time. But then like COVID hit and everything went a little wonky, and like having kids and not knowing like, oh, we can stop this constant hum of everything that has to keep going a certain way, otherwise the world's gonna fall apart. And it's like, nope, we can actually do things differently. We can, you know, people started working from home, people started doing other things. Oh, we've got like these different rules, and it's like, oh, you know, like Jamie says, oh, you can create your ass off, and I'm like, oh, that's too big for me. I don't really like that phrase. But also, I do like the freedom of being able to choose something different. And like, how is that going to play out in my life? I don't know. Maybe it won't at all. Maybe it will be me going to work at a 9-to-5. But at least like I know like I can bring my fuller self to the picture, to that job, or to my community, whatever that looks like. And like, I don't know. I like that, because I feel like for so long I'm like, I just have to follow the rules. I just have to get through, and eventually like things will get better. But I like see these people who are working their ass off their whole life. They're doing what they're supposed to. They're playing by the rules, and then they get to retirement, and like they have these huge plans, and then like their spouse dies, or like things go awry, and it's just like, why are we waiting so long to live our lives? And it's like, you can't live your life if you're constantly hustling. And when you're constantly hustling, you get real tired and real like angry when you're not really in touch with your values and what it is you're trying to do. When you're just like making money to pay the bills and do the thing, it's like, ugh.
Right?
It tires me out. And then like, and then the whole like, why am I here? Why am I built the way I am? And it almost doesn't matter, like when you're just like a cog in the machine of society. Not to get political or whatever, but just, you know what I mean? Like, it just gets to be a drudge, and life is supposed to be more than a drudge. I feel like no matter who you are, I feel like everybody's got a story. Like, I went to school for writing, and you know, people are like, oh, I can't write, I can't do this, and it's like, everybody is cool in their own special way. Like, we all are good in our own way, we all suck in our own way, and like, and when we're seeing all these people on Instagram and wherever, we're like, they're so cool and I'm not, and they've got it together and I don't. No, like it's both ways. They suck too, right? And they're good too. And it's like, how do we validate each other, and how do we bring each other together to have meaningful discussion and meaningful times together, and like get back to playing a little bit and having fun? Like,
yeah, I think, you know, there was some questions that I was faced with, and what would my little girl inside of me want to do, because I was such an adult. I was going to be an adult, and I didn't know how to have fun. You know, my relationships, that was the big thing. You're always so serious, you're always working, you know. And so with my children, I watched my one daughter grow up, and I was so serious and so working, and my other girls got to see me play a little bit, you know. And I'm a creative, I love creating things, and yeah, I don't know, it was interesting. And it was, so I think too, this program, and what I want the world to know is how I would say is it's like a garden. We all have a garden. And so what this program does...
Tell me more.
Right? We all have it. And so in society or different things, we get these belief systems that are placed within us. And I'm giving the opportunity with this program to see if those beliefs still are serving you. And so asking those questions, would you agree, or be like, is that still serving you?
Yes, but I also want you to relate it back to a garden. Tell me more about a garden.
Yeah, garden. So then we look at the gardens, those
Okay.
beliefs, right? And some are weeds, some are beautiful, but I get to choose then if that's serving me. Sometimes there was things that I was dealing with where I had these thought processes, and I'm like, this does not, I no longer believe this. I don't even know where I picked it up from, right?
Yeah.
And that I got to challenge that a little bit. So in this program, we become aware of like what it is, we challenge, and then we change it. So we get to plant new seeds, and we get to pull out the weeds that don't no longer serve us.
Yeah, something might not even be a weed. It might be something you planted in a different environment, and then you've moved, and now your garden's in a new spot, and that doesn't grow well here. So it's just like, even though it's beautiful and it's like cool, is it really serving you anymore? Like, how do you make those hard choices to see what you want to fertilize? And
But I think it goes into, like, for so long I've been known as the Lotus Up, the coffee, right? Who am I if I'm not Jamie from Lotus Up? Right? I'm like, oh God, like, what is that, right? Yeah. But there was parts where it really did me well and it served me well. And then there's time where it's not serving me anymore. Yeah. And I want to work with women, and I want to work with this program. And the program's not just for women. We actually have men and women in it. But this year-long process I did, I wanted to offer it just to my community of women. But yeah, so I don't know. Can you play on that a little bit?
Yeah, I think it was a huge gift because, like, honestly, I got to the last cohort and I'm like, I don't really want this to be over, because then what? Like, did I complete it? Am I where I'm supposed to be now? Like, did I do anything? And I'm like, oh man, like, and even telling people about it, I'm like, this is so weird and so convoluted. Like, but also, it's just like, you know, I've been looking for years and searching, like, who are my people? Where am I trying to go? And like, you look at yoga retreats in Belize and they're $2,000. You go, you know, there's all kinds of things you can do, and it's just a lot. But like, I thought it was really cool that we could bring this to a local place where the people that are around each other can actually connect in a real way. And it, you know, it seems like a shitload of money, and it is a huge investment. Like, I think life coaching is, but you know, after all the life coaching books that I've read, like, there's a place for people who just can, I guess the premise of the program is like, Jamie's not here to fix me. Kind of like when you go to therapy, I'm like, what's the answer? And they're like, I'm not telling you the answer. Like, the answer is, you have the answers. This is your life, and I'm here to witness what your truth is. What do you want? And it's like, that's really hard. And if you're not in any spaces where you can figure that out, like, that can be really, like, lonely, I guess. And I guess for me, maybe that's the thing that drew me the most. It's like, I was so lonely and just like trying to, you know, be a mom and do all the things. And it's like, this is really important. Like, and not just what you're doing, but like what people need to do with each other.
I'm sorry I didn't even write it.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I think it's really interesting. I think you asked me to play off it. So I did have it was funny, like, she gave us these really great journals, and I'm a sucker for like journals, like, oh, my stucker on there. Anyways, there was one little thing that I had written one day, and I'll just be like, you know, I'll just read you a little bit. And it's like, I don't know if cohort group is good or if it's bad, if it's smart, if it's not, if it's frivolous, if it's hard work. What I do know is that I come in hazy and I leave pretty cleansed. There's tears, there's words, there's fears, they all tumble out. And while you're loosing a dam, it's kind of a wild work, but it certainly washes away a lot of stuff, right? It provides a third space outside of your work and your family to, like, empty out your pockets of your mind and your heart, lay all that brain fuzz and your mind pennies on the table and say, can we look at this? Like, can we look at it together? I keep wanting to, like, I take it out and I examine it and then I put it back because I don't know what to do with it. And so it's like, I don't know. You said, like, you kind of talk about it, you kind of figure out what you want to do with it, and then you're like, well, how do you move forward? Like, you know, sometimes our visions are so hazy and huge, and Dreamer's like, oh, how do you eat an elephant? Just one bite at a time. And it's like, just having some accountability to take a breath and be like, okay, one step at a time. Like, I can do something different that I know I need to do, instead of just repeating these same patterns that I've been repeating, you know, because we get into that and it's really hard to interrupt. And so
thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Oh, I love that. Because it is, and I did this program before I started working the program, and creating more with it. But it is about that, and I still have these people in my life that hold me accountable, and I call them up when things get really tough. And I've got one special friend, and he is such an incredible human, but when things are really tough, I call him. He's like, go kick some dirt, James, or go for a hike, and so I do. I mean, I went on last week or something, I went on a 9-mile hike because I was so mad. And I was like, okay, Chad said I got to go kick some dirt. So, doing those things, but getting some really clear things for myself. And it's hard. We're not alone. We are not alone. And I think I felt so alone in my stuff too. Like, no one gets it, right?
Yeah. But
actually sitting and having these deep conversations and conversations that I felt heard in cohort. I don't know about you, but I felt really heard. And sometimes when we're having conversations with our friends, I felt like they wanted to fix it for me, right? And it came from love, but they wanted to help me and fix it. But cohort's
it's uncomfortable to sit in like the messy middle, because you want your friends to feel good and you want everything to feel better, and so you can go have fun. But it's like sometimes you have to go kick the dirt.
Yeah, and I think too is cohort isn't about fixing it. I know each and every one, and Katie has all the answers within themselves, and so I get to hold up a mirror.
It sounds really cheesy.
But it works. It's so crazy. It works. Yeah. Oh, thank you. I have this question, and I really felt like in cohort, every woman comes with her own medicine, right? These gifts within herself that she's able to share. What do you feel you brought into the group? Your insight, your presence, your truth that shaped the experience for others?
I don't know. I think I can be a pretty good listener and just like not pass judgment on people. Like, I mean, obviously I do sometimes accidentally, but for the most part I try to just put myself in somebody else's shoes, and it's like if I was in that situation I'd feel the same way. And just being able to listen and try to hear what they're saying. So I feel like that can be helpful, just to hold that space for people. I feel like I'm pretty good at that. I feel like a really hard part for me was like, you're not supposed to give advice, and I'm like, all I've been doing for the past long time is like pouring all these books in me and all these texts and all these podcasts, and I'm like, oh, but this happened and it's so similar to the story, and it's like I just wanted to fix it, I guess, and because it's uncomfortable when you see somebody struggling. But it's like, if we're trying to empower people to feel confident to solve their own problems, or to just sit with where they are and like decide where they want to go, then you can't fix it for them, and you can't put them over here. I don't know. That's tricky.
Yeah, and I had to call myself out a few times because I didn't want to see people hurting, and it was hard for me to see them in that. And so sitting and watching somebody and continuing to ask those really tough questions.
Kind of like when you have a crossword and you're doing it together and you know the answer, but you want to let them get it because it's theirs.
Well, and through this work I've realized, and even for myself, like somebody could give me advice, I'm not going to take it unless I'm ready for it, or I choose to do it, right? And so there is a part in the process where we do get to give advice, and it's really impactful, because ultimately, you can use those things, but you watch those aha moments. Did you have any aha moments that were like, oh gosh? I have a couple, and I'm like, so ridiculous for myself.
Just like, I'm sure that all of them are kind of like aha moments, but it's just when you realize the patterns you've been repeating. It's like, what do you see here? Do you recognize something? It's like, oh, I've been doing this for a real long time, and it's so hard to break, because then you start to move away from it, but then you kind of come back to it because you do what you know until you really for me, I'm really good at doing something for like 3 days, and then I stop. And it's just like, until you can't just cut yourself off from bad behaviors. You have to like implement a new framework and a new mindset and stuff, and that is like really big work, and you need people to hold you accountable and to listen, and maybe you don't change, and that's okay too. Sometimes you just like need more community and more love, which sounds so dumb and like so like but seriously, like people just to hold you in like your truth, and it's like that's
In the messy middle.
All right, in the messy middle. Thanks, Glennon Doyle, for that term.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's so true. I thought, I'm like, man, I've been wanting to start a blog for a long time. I went to school for writing, and so I started one, and I had it for a couple years, but I just couldn't get anywhere with it. And it's just like, well, I just want to get to the other side. So, like, when I do have all the answers, I can share them and help everybody be fixed and better. And it's just like, that is so dumb. Like, I'm there. I don't know. I think my mom has a quote on the wall, and it's like, life is not about the destination, it's about the journey. And I saw that, and I was like, ah, I hate that. That's so dumb. Like, we're trying to get to places. And no, it's just kind of like, where are we today? Is it okay to just be here instead of constantly thinking about the next thing? And I think that's something for me that's been helpful, is to be like, it's okay to sit here today, even though, like, it's so easy to be guilty, like, oh, I should be working at a job. My husband's out working, you know, like, working really hard. And it's just, like, I know it's important to take this time, even though it feels frivolous and it's hard, but, like, I don't know.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
What do you got in your bag? I keep looking over there, and I'm like, I've got some of these questions,
Jamie
and it's
didn't bring any
great.
props. I asked her to bring some glimmers. Maybe she's got some she wants to share in her mind, but I brought props because that's who I am.
Yeah.
So, you know, people talk about triggers. I worked in a treatment center for a couple of years, and, you know, oh, this person's a trigger for me, and, like, it's so real, and it's so, yes, absolutely, but it's, like, really easy to, like, I think you find what you're looking for. So, like, if you're in this mindset of, like, you're seeing all these things, like, I think it's also good to be like, well, what are my glimmers? Like, I can't remember who coined that term or where I read about it most recently, but I think it was like a Martha Beck book on anxiety, and she's talking about, like, what are these glimmers? And so I'm like, what are the things that bring you joy? And they don't even have to be for anything, and you don't have to feel bad about it. So I'm going to show you what's in my bag. Okay. Did you know that we have a new local newspaper? I don't know if this is forward or backwards in your thing, but it's called The Bookmark. This is volume 1, number 1, and I got it at Henry's Books in Spearfish. We have a local bookstore. It was like crowd-funded, crowd-supported, and it's the namesake of their kiddo, and this couple who works there, they're amazing, and I just love it. Like, literally, the things that I'm looking for and I'm going to find, I find people will do them. It's like you put an idea in the universe, and then there it is. And I was just talking, like, a week or two before I saw this, and I was like, I just want to start a newsletter. I just want to have a place where people can write stuff down and, like, you know, submit their stuff. And poetry, we've got local poetry, we've got illustration by local, you know, artist Desi Schoneweiss. We've got interviews, we've got so much good stuff, and I'm like, this is fantastic. I love this so much. So I'm really happy. If you need books, you can go to Henry's Books in Spearfish. You can also order from them online. So, like, I had a book club, and one of the books was by this author that we read, but I also bought her other book so we could do, like, a drawing, and during that book club I gave that away. And I got it at Henry's Books. I was like, hey, can you order me this book? I know I can do it on Amazon, but this will be more expensive and more impactful, so order me this book. So I did. It made me so happy. I'm trying to drink less coffee because I love coffee, but they say coffee steals tomorrow's energy for today, and I know that's, like, a part of my nervous system being like, blah, blah, blah. So I'm trying to do other things. I've not liked tea for a long time, but I found some that I don't hate. This one is jasmine. I think you get it on Vitacost, and maybe you can get it at your local tea shops. And I know there's a tea place in Spearfish. Is it Cedar and Sage?
Oh, yes.
Or something. And
yes.
I've had some of their stuff at, like, festivals or whatever over the summer, like their iced tea. It was bomb. I'm just not at the place where I have a tea ball thing, and, like, the loose tea still, I'm not at that level. I need to level up, but for right now, on my yeah, so this is, like, you know, it's good. It's got jasmine. It says to do it for 3 minutes. If you don't, it tastes like perfume. I found that out the hard way. I did it again today. I have to set a timer. I'm very externally driven. I also got Rosy Mood. I had a gal at the library when I worked there once. She said traditional medicinals, she's like, oh, these other tea brands are crap. They're just, like, junk. But this one is a good one. And so this one's called Rosy Mood. It supports your good mood. It's got Damiana and butterfly pea flower, so take that for what you will.
Okay.
Yeah. And one more beverage goblin advice. When you go to, what's the place? Cedar Rose? You know, we've got a lot of cedars going on here. Yeah, Cedar Rose Spa. I went with a friend.
Oh, okay.
And they have these drinks. They're called Hayo, and they're like an adaptogen drink, so that's got ashwagandha and some stuff to just, like, I think it helps your nervous system, like, be toned so it can be stronger. And they're ridiculously expensive there, but, like, one time I was in such a foul mood, and I'm like, I know I shouldn't drink because I get ridiculous when I drink, so I drove, like, before they were closed. I'm like, you still there? Can I get a couple of these? Because I just needed a treat and something to, like, you know, like, honor myself while also, like, you know, when water's not doing it and you don't want to be a douchebag and drink and... Anyways, which I did the other night. Sorry, everybody at Greenfield Fields, if I was too over the top.
I had some whiskey yesterday.
I got a new postcard book, and it is National Geographic, and I love it so much because they're just like super, you know, cool little things.
Cool.
Yeah, and so it's like I try to match up my cards to the personality of the person I'm sending it, and this is easier because they're cute. And who doesn't like cute stuff? So there's that.
And Katie is the best at cards. Like, I will tell you, so for the Opera House this year, for Festival of Trees, I created a tree inspired by Katie, and it had a bunch of different note cards and different things. I didn't hear how it went, but she was beautiful.
I heard you made $600.
Ooh, $600.
Which, yeah, that's a lot of money.
See, yeah. And we did cool shit because Katie does amazing stuff, and she's always thinking about other people. And that tree just inspired me. It called her name when I saw her. So I will post a picture of her later with this. So yeah. Thanks for inspiring.
You're welcome.
My little like creativity and.
It was kind of a love bomb. I was like, I don't know how to take this, but it was very beautiful.
I'm sorry.
I was like anonymous and in the background, so it's like, right? And she's like, here's the Katie Nebelsick trim. Cool.
I know, probably really embarrassing, but I didn't care.
Yeah. We talk about in cohort the things you can control and the things you can't control. I'm like, I could be like, you can cancel your tree, but also it was so beautiful and it was very honoring to, like, you know, to have that. So that's very cool.
Yay.
Yeah.
I wanted everyone to know how cool Katie is.
Yeah, cool. Here's some of the books I've been reading lately. Earthing. Yeah, I know it sounds woo-woo and ridiculous, but like I have thought about, like what I said when I hit my midlife crisis, I was going to go into like traditional medicine, like holistic doctor stuff, but I'm like, I don't really want to be a doctor. That's a big commitment. So I keep looking for like, what could I do that's more chill and more accessible to people, because like you've got these vitamin programs and all these things, but they cost hundreds of dollars, and it's just like, I don't know. So anyways, earthing is pretty much putting your bare feet on the ground or part of your bare body and just like letting the earth do its thing with like electrons. It's a whole science. Like, it's a super interesting book because this guy started a whole movement about it, but obviously people were doing it since the beginning of time when they were barefoot. But since we wear shoes now and clothes, we just don't get like the sunlight and apparently the free electrons from the earth. Look into it, it's a whole thing, but it's super interesting. Like, do you want to hear a story?
Yeah, let's do it.
There was one guy in here who they got this pad they're gonna lay him on. It's an earthing pad, and it just pretty much is a ground rod of copper in the ground, and you lay on it, and it's supposed to help you heal in various ways. Well, they took 3 people to lift this guy up and put this pad under him, and then he was like rigid and had like this knuckly arthritis, just could not barely move, you know, like bed rest, like on hospice care. Well, this guy, the guy who was on the bed and having a trouble, he calls the guy who put the pad under him, and he's like, hey, a squirrel chewed through my ground wire to go outside, can you come fix it? And he's like, how does he know that, you know, because he is bedridden. He goes over, this guy meets him at the door, and he lets him in, and sure enough, the squirrel had chewed through it, so he replaced it. But like, by doing this thing after he'd been in, you know, hospice care and bed rest for whatever, he was able, I think he was in his, you know, like late 80s or 90s, he was able to get up, and he was able in the next year to like do small chores, like sweep and stuff around his house. And then he got to the point where he was like kindling his own fires and back to like, yeah, this kind of stuff like drives me nuts when I'm like, there are things that we can do that we're not doing because like there's a lot of expensive options that are really confusing, and like doctors don't always know about this, and they're like, oh, that's dumb, and you know, it's just woo-woo. Like, yes, and also, like, that's why I love stories.
Yes.
Because, like, it's a one-off, and maybe it's not a whole study, but, like, there's lots and lots and lots of stories in this book that I just find fascinating, so that's just me. Anyways, also...
So earthing, I'm going to look into
earthing,
that, too.
yeah.
Because I've heard about
also kind
that.
of grounding. Regenerative business, it's... I have a construction business with my husband, and it's normal business, but also I don't know what I want to do with my life yet, you know, which is okay, but like the premise of this is how to align your business with nature for more abundance, fulfillment, and impact. And it's just like sometimes what we got going on out there, some of it's good and some of it feels really yuck. And I don't know, like just trying to work for the buck, it really drives me nuts. But the gal who started this, like, you know, why she did it, it's just really cool. And so like I would love to have a book discussion with the community, you know, anybody who's interested or who might have a business, and not coming from a place of authority on this, but just having a discussion like, what does it look like to have a more humane business, and what does it look like when we're investing in each other and in our connections, and we're working with like the cycles of nature, so it's not constantly go 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 go,
right?
The grind. It's like, how do we take a break, and how do we build that into our lives so we have a healthier business and a healthier perspective and healthier families, so we can continue the longevity of the business or whatever it is that you're trying to do. So anyways, awesome. If anybody wants to read Regenerative Business, Facebook ads totally called me out, so the library ordered it for me. Once they did, then I ordered my own copy. So I probably will have a book club at some time, and if you want to join,
yes,
maybe we'll meet at the
Lotus Up building. Yeah. Well, I've got it. Let's do it.
Okay, I got 2 more things. I got this at the Art House in Rapid City, because it's beautiful and I wanted it. And I'm like, maybe I'll put a gift in it sometime, but for now it's just like a hand marbled gift bag, and it's so amazing. Like, you forget to do art when you're a tired mom, but that's really important, apparently, so they say. And here's my last one. It's my pickle jar. One of my goals was like, I have all these things I want to do, and then I put them in my brain and they just never really come out, and so I need a place to put them. And so Jamie had this pickle jar, and my grandma had a pickle, like, you take the thing off, maybe some of your grandmas have this, you pull it up and the pickles come out. It's awesome. And I just put my little notes in there, and I'm like, oh, well, now I can pull one out if I have an accountability person, otherwise I will never do it. And then I open it up and I'm like, oh, what should I do? Determine the date for the first Women's Mischief Society.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
It doesn't exist yet, but I would love to have that, and maybe men can be honorary members if they're into mischief too. But it's just like, these are the things that like weigh on my heart, that I'm like, I need to do some of this stupid weird stuff that's on my brain, because why is it there? Like, to connect people, like, that's what I'm gonna do. So,
and those are things that I wanted to bring Katie out and show her to the world, and just spotlight you, because the people that know you know how great you are.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm serious. I'm totally like calling you out right now. But Katie's mind works in the most amazing ways, and hearing her ideas, like this mischief society, like, I can't wait for her to unleash it, because I want to be a part of it. Everything that Katie has even talked about, I just want to be a part, because it's amazing and it's moving and it's real.
I think I was at a church at a family reunion, and they had a banner, and one of the things said Holy Mischief. I'm like, whoa, Holy Mischief, that sounds like exactly what I was put here for. Like, I don't know what that looks like or how I incorporate that, but yes.
Right? That is it. Oh, I love it. Let's look just over my little questions.
Well, it's my turn, so you just wait a minute.
Okay.
I want to say thanks, because one of my goals was I wanted to be a pod squatter, like, as a job. Not as a job, obviously, because it doesn't pay, but, you know, like, just get on other people's podcasts, because I don't want to have a podcast, but here I am. Yay, thanks for having me.
For sure.
I have a question for you. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay.
Always.
What did you want to be when you were little?
What came to mind just now is a healthy adult.
A healthy adult? That's what you wanted to be?
Yeah. But yeah, I think I just wanted to be loving, right? I wanted to make people feel as if they were wanted and needed in this world. So that's what I dreamt about when I was little.
What's the last thing you drank before this tea?
Oh, I did have a Keurig coffee this morning. With hazelnut creamer.
Okay. My last one is, in one word, how do you want to be today?
How do I want to be? I want to be open and present.
Okay.
Yeah. I think for so many years I've been stuck in the past, or trying to get to the future, but I forget to be in the present. So open and present.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, did you come up with something now that we had that little...
Well, I just was going over, because we had talked so much, and we got all of my stuff. But I just, I think the last one for closing is, who is one woman you think I should have a conversation with, and why does she inspire you?
Can you give me like a pool of names and I can pick one from?
Yeah, no. And if you have more than one,
like in this whole world, or like just here in Lead, or
wherever. I mean, somebody that I could have a conversation with, just like I get to have a conversation with you, that could bring her wisdom to the world.
That is a good question. Who do I want to know more about? Lots of people. There's so many cool people in this town.
So many cool people.
What about Sarah that owns the little purple church?
Ooh, oh my gosh, that would be a great
amazing.
She is amazing.
And very unique, original. I don't know if she'd be open to that. I'm not pushing. I'm just saying, like, I would watch that.
Sarah Larson, she owns Aspire, and she inspires me by watching, gosh, I just got goosebumps. But this girl is so creative and so her own unique self, giving, just a beautiful soul.
Creating.
Yeah, her mom and dad are amazing too. Like, that whole family is incredible.
Yes, her sister I worked with, Emily, she's amazing. Brilliant minds, just so cool.
Yeah, such a cool family. So if you know the Larsons, shout out to them.
You could have like the Larson sisters and mom. It could be a wild
I know, that could be a wild card. That would be awesome. I would love to know, because they're so inspiring to me. But yeah, beautiful. Anything that you would want to say to the people out there to kind of close this off today, and just
if you think this is stupid, that's okay. If you're like, why are they talking, that's okay, because I kind of was like, why are we gonna do this? It seems dumb. Who would want to listen to my story? And one of the girls in the group was like, weren't you just encouraging me to tell my story? And don't you think that would be important for other people? And don't I love people's stories? And I'm like, yeah. Like, that's right. Yeah, people's stories are cool, so like, don't be afraid to share your story, and like, you know, whatever you were like when you were little, and what you really like to do, and what you like to like involve people in to be happy, like, bring that back. Yeah, I've heard that a couple times this year, and it's like, that's so important.
Right.
Yeah,
I love hearing people's stories.
Yes.
I mean, they're so moving.
Yeah, I saw Jen Greenfield drive by. We could interview her. She's
I would love to. She is
bring
such
her mom, a little mother-daughter energy. That could be wild. Both amazing women.
But all these incredible women. Well, thank you, Katie. I am so amazed by you, and deeply grateful for your
Thanks for the push.
Yeah. So thanks, Facebook world. If you know of anyone that would love to sit with me and have a conversation like Katie and I, let me know. If you want to be that girl, or
if you want to come talk to me, also, I'm at that place. I love to hear a good story. So if you have any good stories, or if you want to write a note because you hate talking, I'm your girl. You can send me a note too. I love that.
Yeah. And that place.
Nothing creepy though. I'm married.
Yeah. So, Tennille Thorpe, or Tennille up at that place. Pal, that's right. Such an amazing woman as well. Just inspires the heck out of me as well. And she goes see that place. It's amazing. And the donuts. Oh my gosh, the donuts are amazing.
Wednesday through Saturday we're there. Homemade donuts, sourdough, bagels, like, it's so good.
Yeah, I had a sandwich there with some soup. Incredible. Yeah. What are the times that you guys are open at that place?
We're there Wednesday through Friday from 7 to 2, breakfast till 11, 11 to 2 is lunch. And then on Saturday is just breakfast, 7 to 11. But also you can order stuff if you call like a day ahead at least, or a week is even better. And if you miss us because we're not there, we're not open that day, just call again when we're open. And it's cool because that's kind of why I wanted to work there. Is, you know, it's a place where people can gather and they can. I've seen like commissioners meet with people who want to talk to them. I've seen friends gather for birthdays. I see all kinds of interesting things happen there. And I'm like, I love this place. Like,
yeah, true community.
Yeah, so great.
Yeah. So, yay. So in Lead, South Dakota, on Main Street, go visit Katie and the amazing humans over at that place.
Come see the baby.
Oh yeah, the new baby.
Yeah, we have a baby. Yeah, she bakes.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Bye guys. Thank you so much. Oops, what did I do? Am I still live?